Hello there. We are joined by Nigel Clifford of Symbian, CEO of Symbian. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to be here.
Now, today was a really exciting day for you guys. You had the opportunity to make a pretty major announcement about the Symbian OS 9.5, the new operating system, or enhancements, if you will, that are going to be launched later on this year. And I was hoping that you could just give us a brief overview of what some of those enhancements entail.
Okay, well, there's 70 enhancements in total, and those spread through some of the areas that we think are really important for the future of smartphones. So we're talking about multimedia, we're talking about maybe 30 enhancements to our camera application alone, looking at tilt, looking at landscape stitching, looking at red eye reduction, those kind of things which will really make a difference on the phone. And then there's things like GPS, so location-based services, making sure that we are ready to support this as another major push in the world of the smartphone. So lots and lots of new stuff, and all being done at a reduced cost of production. So it's more power and it's at a lower cost of production.
Fantastic. Now, Symbian seems to have maintained a large share of the market, 70% of the market. What are some of the keys to that mass adoption?
Okay, so we've got a number of ideas that drive the marketplace. So first one is it's exceptionally cool devices. So the Symbian product enables great differentiation using a number of different UIs, so S60 or UIQ, or in Japan our MOAP user interface. And that allows our handset vendors to create beautiful products in many different form factors. So you've got one here which is a TV phone, which has got a form factor which slips and slides, and you've got others which are QWERTY keyboards, you've got others which have got no keyboard at all, which are just purely touchscreen. So making sure we've got a device for every different sector, for every different consumer or enterprise requirement. That's number one. Then working very closely with our ecosystem to make sure there are really compelling applications which can sit on top of those phones and add value. And then finally working with operators to make sure that there are the right networks and also the right tariffing, which will then appeal to as a package to the consumer. Those are kind of the important steps.
Right. And what do you think are some of the driving forces behind the trends of what should be produced, what should be out on the mass market? Where are you getting that leading edge information from?
So a number of ways. One of the most important is we talk to our customers, and in some cases we talk to our customers' customers. So we talk to the handset vendors. In fact, we have leading handset vendors as investors in Symbian. So we have Sony Ericsson, we have Nokia, Samsung, Panasonic, all sitting on our board. On top of that, we also have the top 5 handset vendors in the world as clients using our version 9 software. So you couldn't ask for a better pool of information to tell you what's going to happen in the future and what do they see about the market going forwards. So as well as that, we do our own research. So we talk to market research companies, we talk to operators as well to understand what do they see coming down the pipe and what's currently being used in the marketplace. So great blend of information.
Fantastic. Now, what can you tell us about, there is an apparent, I guess, lag in the North American market, if you will, for adoption of the smartphones in comparison to, say, Asia.
Yes.
What do you think some of those differences are?
I think some of them are to do with the state of the marketplace. So USA, North America is still going through a growth phase, so not everyone has got a mobile phone. That's not the case elsewhere, where saturation means that operators are now turning to advanced services as a way of getting that extra dollar of revenue from their customers and also creating loyalty. We'll see that happen. Yeah, we will definitely see that happen in the States.
Fantastic. My last question for you, Nigel, again going back to mass adoption. I understand that certainly with other operating systems that are out there, there does seem to be a spike in growth for adoption, but it still remains the case that Symbian is miles ahead. So what is it that you feel that Symbian is able to bring to the market that really just puts them a cut above any of the competition?
Well, I think we work very closely with our customers, and because we're a joint venture, we are accepted as a neutral party with the best interests of the overall ecosystem at heart, and that means that we're very well trusted. Our customer survey shows that we are really trusted as a provider, and therefore we get a lot of inside information. By using that and building it into our operating system, that means that we can always be that step ahead.
Right, so more of your business model in a sense that really makes you
I think
unique.
so. Plus, obviously, an incredibly capable workforce working very hard to create a compelling product.
Absolutely. Now, you've recently expanded your offices and you have a very strong international base. Maybe you can tell us briefly about what those different offices perhaps bring to the table.
Sure. So we have the majority of our activity is in the UK. but we've got probably 30-40% now of our workers outside the UK, and the major presence outside the UK are in India, in Japan, and in USA, where we have an office in San Francisco. And most recently, we've expanded the office that we've had in Beijing, and we will be putting a development center in Beijing, keeping close to a very explosive marketplace, but also keeping very close to our customers who are also based in Beijing.
Fantastic. Well, Nigel, thank you so much for joining us today. We very much appreciate that. And I know that we're going to get a little bit more insight from your Executive Vice President. So when our viewers come back, they'll be able to learn a little bit more about the new enhancements with the Symbian OS system.
Much.
So that's fantastic. This has been an edition of Bnettv.com. And we were joined today by Nigel Clifford, CEO of Symbian. And my name is Michelle Sklar. Hello there and welcome back to Bnettv.com. I'm Michelle Sklar. Following the announcement of Symbian OS version 9.5, set to launch in early 2008, Bnettv.com interviewed Nigel Clifford, CEO of the company, who we just heard from, and Jürgen Behrens, Executive Vice President of Marketing, who we'll hear from when we return. But before we do, let me explain that the version 9.5 is a major software upgrade with over 70 new features being added for high-performance, more powerful smartphones at mass market costs. Overall, the upgrade has been designed for richer user experiences with regards to multimedia and enterprise solutions. When we return, we will hear from Jürgen Behrens of Symbian.